Welcome to T-Boys TV, and the reason my face is looking like this is because I've just done a 9-minute video and I've got to redo it again. So take two, hopefully no issues. Basically the mic was very on and off. I don't actually think this mic was plugged in, or because I had it down there it was messing up. So hopefully it doesn't do the same thing. So I actually like that video, I thought it was pretty good. Excuse me, so I'm going to have to go through and do it again here. So obviously we're back again with T-Boy Discusses. Obviously there'll be a lot more of these as the season goes on, or the summer goes on, shall I say. And yeah, obviously big rumours come out today. One that looks like it's happening, very close, as it says in the title. Ross Barkley close to going to Aston Villa. Now Fabrizio Romano, who we know is very reliable, has put Aston Villa are in advanced talks to sign Ross Barkley from Luton Town confirmed. Negotiations are progressing as per at Guardian Sport. Barkley is keen on the move. Understand Unai Emery really likes Barkley and believes he could be a smart signing for Aston Villa. Now, my thoughts on it, we always knew he was most likely going to go, especially in his interview a couple of weeks before the season ended. He said he wants to try and keep Luton up, but then progress and play for a team in Europe. So obviously want to keep us up and then go somewhere who is going to be playing Europe, try and get back in the England team, because let's be real, if he's playing for a team that's in Europe and a high-end club in the Premier League, then he might actually get a lick in by Southgate. And yeah, looks like Aston Villa will be that club. I mean, I was saying to Lewis, shout out to Lewis, who's been on this channel a few times, a couple of weeks ago, ironically, would you take Barkley at Villa? And he weren't really too keen on it, which was a bit interesting. Because obviously Big Steve, who we got on the channel, Man City fan, as we all know, said, he reckons he could get in Man City's midfield. That's how good he was this season. Man City done the four-peat literally yesterday. So, that tells you a lot. But obviously, Lewis, mate, you're going to be having him now by the looks of it. And I think that's a very smart signing, like it says there, with Unai Emery potentially thinking that, especially now they're in the Champions League as well, you actually be able to see him play as a more attacking midfielder. Obviously, didn't quite see that at Luton due to the injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, I think he'll do well for them. I really do, and I'm gutted, but at the end of the day, it was always going to happen. Especially in the interview, that was the main bit that sort of gave it away for me. Obviously, he wants to try and keep us up, but then progress and play for a side in Europe. So, yeah, man. One thing I will be disappointed about though is if we don't get at least 5 mil for this deal. In my opinion, we should really do. With the amount of people that have realised how good Ross Barkley has done for Luton this season. I think if we get any less than that, it's a bit of a joke. Especially now we're at that stage, especially now that we've been in the Premier League. If people want our players, they've got to be paying a decent amount. But I think because he's past the 30 mark, I'm not going to say more than 5 mil at this current moment in time. And obviously it was one season, but I reckon he'll capitalise on that now and show why he's still a top player. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. What's the minimum you guys would sell Ross Barkley for? Do let me know in the chat. And then another load of news that's come out today is Everton are looking at Elijah. Now, obviously, we know as the week's gone on, obviously Leicester have been heavily looking at him as well. But according to Team Talk, the Toffees manager Sean Dyche is a huge admirer of the 26-year-old and wants the club to sign him when the transfer window opens. Everton struggled for goals this season, scoring the second fewest goals in the Premier League, and will need to add more quality to their attack to prevent fighting relegation for the fourth consecutive campaign. They have also been linked with Super Eagles forward Iheanacho, who is set to become a free agent next month upon the expiry of his contract with Leicester City. That's interesting, man. You've obviously Iheanacho there as well. I mean, obviously Elijah got 10 goals this year. I do think, if he didn't have that injury that he got against Man United, that, set him out for, quite a lot of games towards the back end of the season. I do feel he'd have at least 13 to 15 goals. I truly believe that. And again, it's another one I look at where if they do want him, they've got to pay good money. I'm saying minimum 15 million in my personal opinion. You could even push that up to 20, in my opinion. But that for me, that's more so if he did have 13 to 15 goals, because you've got to look first Premier League season having them amount of goals, in the position we were in as well. I think it would have been worthy of that. But I'll say 15. You know, maybe 10 at a push, but yeah, it makes sense. Everton looking at him, you look at Calvert-Lewin, he's quite similar in the sense of being a good, aerial presence player. He's good with the physicality side of things as well, being that nuisance, you could say, in the box. We know Elijah's very good at that, of course, scored a lot of goals, bringing the ball down and finish it. And obviously he did that against Everton as well. So it makes sense. But me personally, I do think he'll probably stay. I think there's more chance if he was to leave, he'd go Leicester. I think Vardy might stay for one more year, but just being that addition. And I could see it, obviously, I know James Justin weren't there when Elijah was there, but obviously he could sway him on. Drewsbury Hall, I think he might have been there when Elijah was there. He was, if I'm correct in saying that. Do remind me in the chat. But yeah, I think, if he is to go, like I say, I think it would be Leicester out of the teams that he's been rumoured with so far. But yeah, again, minimum I'm saying 15 million for Elijah. Like I say, we're getting to that stage now where teams want our players. We can't really, bend over. I'm still annoyed to this day about the James Bree one. Now, I know that was a bit different because his contract was running out, but I wanted at least a mil for him, and that's a mil at that time. So now with us being in the Premier League, I feel, they want our players, they've got to be paying good money, for our players. And again, let me know the minimum you would sell Elijah for, but I do think he'll stay. And yeah, that is that. And then last thing I want to talk about that also come out today, shout out to Joe Johnson, got selected for the England youth team again. And yeah, really good performance from him yesterday when he come on for Mengi. Unfortunate injury for Mengi. Again, more centre-back issues we had. I'm sort of glad the season's over for that because it was just injuries upon injuries at the back. Some games we didn't even have centre-backs. It was just bizarre. It was crazy. It's very unlucky. Obviously, that held us back a little bit with the season as well. But yeah, Johnson come on, looked really composed. And he has in a lot of games this season, especially when we played Everton in the FA Cup. I thought he was really good in that as well. And next season, we'll see him be in and around the team a lot more, as in starting. And I think, if Doughty potentially leaves, obviously he's been rumoured with a few clubs, and I think we might see him, Johnson and Bell, chop and change next season on that left-sided, sort of positions. So yeah, it's all interesting, but again, it's going to be a huge summer for us, like it was when we were going into the Premier League. I think it'll be a similar amount of signings, maybe even more. We did a massive change up, especially in the midfield. Obviously, I'm hearing Arsenal do want to sell Lokonga, but again, I don't think we'll be paying the money that they want for him. I do think Berry, especially with his agent saying all that stuff, with all the clubs that he was rumoured with, I think he'll probably go. So yeah, midfield looking at it now is probably where we need that massive, overhaul. You could say, Barkley is gone, basically. That's how I see it. But thanks to Barkley for the memories, this season. And yeah, man, especially in that position, like I say, playing that more sort of defensive position, he done really, really well for us. And I am gutted that I wasn't able to see him play in that cam sort of role, higher up. And I think we might have a few times, but even then, it's early on in the season when we were still gelling as a team and, getting used to Premier League. So I don't really count that, if I'm going to be honest. So yeah, that is the end of the T-Boy Discusses. And yeah, man, do make sure you check out the vlog yesterday if you haven't already. And do make sure you check out the fan cam as well. I did shout out to Stephen from Fulhamish for that. And going forward in the future, hopefully I'll be doing them a lot next season, especially our home games. Should hopefully be able to go to a lot more games now that we're in the Championship and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll be doing some away days as well next year, especially a lot of the grounds I haven't done, and even some of them that I did do last time in the Championship and did enjoy them. So yeah, man, big up to everyone and that type of thing. And yeah, man, I want this to get this channel, so you don't just see the regular faces, me, my dad, and opposition fans. I want it to get to a stage where we're getting more Luton fans on, not even just Luton fans, football fans in general. That's why I'm trying to do the fan cams and that. Neutral fans that come onto that. Opposition fans and obviously Luton fans. I want to expand it, and obviously we don't just do Luton content, as boxing as well. And yeah, big gutted the other night. Obviously, being a fellow Brit, obviously I wanted Fury to win, but Usyk deserved it in the end. I do think if anyone did anyway, it deserved to be in my mean. I was thinking it should have really been a draw, but then again, Usyk done a lot better than I thought he would anyway. So yeah, shout out to him for that, and the rematch will be interesting. If Fury ain't doing all the showboating stuff, I do think he probably bounces back and wins, but we'll see. See, that's for a different day, but that could be that is in October. I'll tell you what, if that's on my birthday, that'll be absolute limbs. But yeah, man, big up to everyone that's watching this. Don't forget to smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel and follow me across all my socials. And yeah, man, subscribe to the extra channel as well. Until next time, take care and peace.